Subscribe for more.
I never imagined silence could be louder than shouting, but 21 days of it rewired something inside me. My name is Callum Wright. I am 43, married for 16 years. Or at least I was acting married while my wife, Helena, chose disappearance as her new language. It started with an argument that barely qualified as one. No screaming, no insults, just a disagreement about priorities, time, and the quiet distance that had been growing between us for years. The next morning, she left early for work without a word. By evening, her side of the bed was untouched. No text, no call. I assumed space. I gave it to her. Day 3 felt strange. Day 7 felt intentional. By day 14, silence had turned into a statement. I didn't chase her. I didn't send paragraphs asking what went wrong. I handled the house, went to work, paid bills, cooked for one. That kind of discipline doesn't come from confidence. It comes from exhaustion. Every night, I sat in the same chair, staring at the same wall, replaying the last decade of small compromises I made to keep peace. The dinners I skipped, the jokes I swallowed, the way intimacy slowly became a scheduled courtesy instead of desire. Silence has a way of sharpening memories you avoided when things were loud. On the 15th day, a mutual friend casually mentioned seeing Helena out late with coworkers. The tone was harmless. I didn't react. I thanked him and changed the subject. I didn't need confirmation yet. I needed clarity. When someone goes quiet for that long, they are either breaking or building something new. Both usually happen away from home. By day 21, I had stopped checking my phone. That's when it buzzed. A single message. From her. No greeting. No apology. Just 6 words. Can we talk? I stared at the screen longer than I should have. Not because I was emotional, but because I finally understood the power dynamic had shifted. Silence had been her weapon. Now conversation was her request. I replied, sure, but I already know. The dots appeared, disappeared, appeared again. Minutes passed. Then the message came. I don't know what you think you know. That line told me everything. Innocent people ask questions. Guilty people stall. We agreed to meet at the house that evening. When she walked in, she looked rested, calm, the kind of calm that comes from unloading weight somewhere else. She didn't sit near me. She stayed standing, arms folded, like she was preparing to negotiate. I didn't rush her. Silence had taught me patience. She said the distance had been necessary, that she felt unheard, that life with me had become predictable. I listened without interruption. Then I asked one question. Is there someone else? She hesitated. Not long, just long enough. She said nothing physical happened. That word, physical, landed heavy. I nodded. I didn't argue definitions. I didn't ask for timelines. Emotional betrayal doesn't need witnesses. I told her I spent the last 3 weeks learning how to live without her voice in my house, that I realized how often I minimized myself to avoid conflict. I told her silence didn't punish me. It prepared me. She looked confused. Maybe she expected anger. Maybe tears. She got neither. Then she admitted it. Late nights. Long conversations. Someone who listened. Someone who made her feel alive again. She said it softly, like honesty would soften the damage. I waited until she finished. Then I told her something she wasn't expecting. That I believed her. That I didn't think she was evil. Just done. And being done quietly doesn't make it less final. She asked if we could fix it. If talking now could lead to something better. I told her talking was easy. Respect was not. I explained that disappearing without accountability, then returning with conditions, wasn't communication. It was control, and I no longer lived under that. She cried then. Real tears. Not manipulation. Regret. I acknowledged it without comforting her. There is a difference between compassion and surrender. I told her we could talk logistics, finances, separation. But the marriage had ended during the silence, not the confession. When she left, the house felt lighter. Not happier. Lighter. Like air returning to a room sealed too long. I sat alone that night and realized something important. Closure doesn't come from answers. It comes from alignment. My actions finally matched my worth. In the days that followed, messages came through friends and family asking me to reconsider, to remember history, to be patient. I listened politely and said little. Patience only works when both people show up. History only matters when both people protect it. Endurance is not love. Endurance just keeps you standing while love is already gone. I reorganized my routines, changed my commute, took longer walks at night, slept deeper. There was grief, but it was clean grief, not the corrosive kind that comes from waiting on someone else's choices. When people asked if the silence hurt, I told them the truth. It clarified everything. Weeks later, her final message arrived. Longer this time. Thoughtful. Apologetic. I read it once. Then I placed the phone face down and didn't reply. Silence had already said enough, and I finally understood how to use it.